Welcome to the Captain's Log. Start date, what do we got? 10/29/2025. And we're talking about the end of the winning streak, which is not as big a deal as a lot of people are making it out to be. 7 in a row to kind of kick off the first 10 of the season is pretty impressive. And I'm pretty happy about it. But let's break down some things that happened in the game with the Edmonton Oilers. We know Edmonton's good. I mean, you don't make it to the Stanley Cup Championship 2 years in a row without being good. The game started off great for the Utah Mammoth. And you had Logan Cooley pick up his 8th goal of the season on a beautiful play, kind of a broken play by Darnell Nurse, which he's becoming to kind of be known for these days. And him and Gunther went in and just put pressure on, got a turnover, and had some great passing. Gunther with kind of a no-look pass. Cooley takes space and beats Skinner over the glove. So things were off to a great start. That was 9:25 in the first period. And then in the second goal of the first period, you got Peterka unassisted, just beautiful, exactly what you expect out of Peterka, and it's a beautiful goal. So by the end of the first period, we're up 2-zip. Utah's looking like they're in full control in handling Edmonton, and it looks like Edmonton is still in that, that playoff funk, that the hangover that they talk about. But then as we start the second period, Ekholm comes right out and scores 22 seconds in, and it was a bad play on Utah's part, and it was just good players are gonna make good plays, and if you're a fan of Brooklyn Nine-Nine at all, one of my favorite sayings is a scorpion's going to scorp. And you knew they were going to come out, you knew they were going to answer, and Utah just kind of got caught in their heels. The second goal was not great either, and they were okay though. What was crazy is goals 3 and 4 against Utah were almost identical setups. You have a rim around the boards, you have somebody pick up a puck off on Veggie's glove hand side, which is the right side of the defensive ice, and put a shot on, and a rebound goes right out to Veggie's blocker side or the left side, and it just immediately gets fed back into the net. And then you had a step out. I think that was the second goal. Was a pass out from behind the net. Kind of just was a weird play on Marino's part. He planned on just playing it up the boards, and instead I think it hit Draisaitl. Or no, it hit Henrique, and it just passed out in front. So, yeah, a lot of the Utah fan pages right now are just complaining about how bad Utah is in the second period. And I got to tell you, I went back and I looked up the stats. If you go goals by period for Utah and their opponents for the first 10 games of the season, you've got Utah scoring 11 in the first period, their opponents scoring 8. In the second period, it was 10-10 coming into this contest. So it's not like the second period had been a real bad play by Utah. And then you've got 14 goals for Utah in the third period and 8 for their opponents in the third period. So all in all, it hadn't been a real bad second period. Maybe equal, right? The goals say it's equal. Maybe the play doesn't say it's equal. One thing that I did like is that we weren't seeing those penalties that we had been seeing. But anyway, Utah drops the game. It becomes, we're chasing it, so you get some goals against, and Utah drops the game. And here's what Barrett Hayton had to say about their play on the game.
I guess maybe just the dissection of the last 2 periods of that game, and we'll talk about your goal in a sec, but how did you assess that?
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing. I think coming out with the first period like that, I thought that was one of our best periods of the year. Obviously playing on top of them, playing with a lot of pace, playing our game. Obviously, you need to play that way against a dangerous team like that. Obviously, they got the star players, and they're able to kind of take over control if you're too passive. So I thought we did a great job in the first, kind of sticking with our game plan, playing with a lot of pace, and just frustrating, kind of veering away from that in the second two periods, and just frustrating.
the big picture, obviously, with this road trip, you still take 6 points away. How do you not let the highs get too high and the lows get too low with this new look maturity team? How are you guys managing those emotions?
Yeah, no, that's huge. I thought we did a good job through this last stretch of staying pretty even keel. Kind of every day's a new day, just getting after it. So yeah, I mean, right now, obviously, everyone in that room's disappointed and frustrated, and it's definitely not the way we wanted to end off this road trip. But I think kind of we got to flush it in the next day and understand that this last stretch has been a lot of good and a lot to build on, and just need to get that mindset back. Obviously, we got a couple of days now and get back at it.
And can you just highlight that goal for us and what you saw, how it unfolded?
Yeah, it was just a simple play. I know Tourigny was skating up the ice, hard rim. Schmally was in on the forecheck there. Obviously, it's tough, a puck on the yellow with a lot of pressure on a goalie. So I think it kind of bounced, and he made a smart play, found me out front. Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Barrett Hayton picking up a goal, and that is his second goal of the season. One of the cool things about this is that Utah only took 2 penalties. And that is a huge improvement from the last game, and it was a frustrating game, a lot of physical play. So the expectation would be that there would be more penalties as the players got frustrated. But they showed maturity, and they showed a focus on what was important, which was, picking up the win and trying to stay competitive. So, neither team got a power play goal. Utah with two penalty minutes, Edmonton with 4 penalty minutes. The hits were about even, 17-19. The main thing is the giveaways. Utah only had 12 giveaways. Edmonton had 16 giveaways. So a lot of the things favored Utah, and a lot of the things that Coach Bear's been talking about in the past are starting to bear fruit. We're starting to see more maturity. We're starting to see better plays. We're starting to see less penalties. Maybe not every game, but at least in this super competitive game, there were less penalties. And when it started getting out of reach, there were less penalties. You just kind of wonder. Liam O'Brien took a penalty, not a big deal. I think it was a fine penalty. He was trying to get a spark for the team, but you got to wonder how it would have gone different with Yamamoto in there, maybe creating a little bit more offensive punch. Shots on goal. I know a lot of people are talking about Veggie, and maybe it's coming from some of the newer fans that aren't really familiar with goaltending. You got to look at how the goal, not just how many goals, but how the goals were scored. And most goaltenders will tell you they know, Yeah, obviously you want to stop every shot, but there's a realistic expectation of what you're going to be able to stop, especially against a team like Edmonton. And when you're getting those wide open rebounds, now the first part of that rebound thing is the goalie's primary responsibility is the first shot. And I know goalies have gotten amazing at covering that second shot or not giving up good rebounds, but when you're scrambling and looking through traffic, trying to find that first shot, a lot of times the rebound control goes out the door, and your whole primary objective as a goaltender is to stop the first shot, let the defenseman pick up the rebound, or at least the rebound shooters, and that gives you time to, track the puck and get into the proper shooting position, or the proper save position, I should say, and to take away that second shot if you can't control the rebound. However, Veggie was getting to the first shot. He didn't get to the first shot on the one that, like I said, that was a pass out from behind the net. Those are notoriously impossible for goalies to stop because, you're looking behind your head, you're sealing one post, and the defenseman's supposed to stop that puck from getting in front, and it was just kind of a fluke. I think Veggie probably thought Marino had control of that puck, and it came out front too fast. So Veggie had, saves were 19 saves on 24 shots, which puts him at a 79% save average on that. But I think if you looked at goals expected instead of just goals shot, I think you'd find that the majority of those goals, maybe there was one that he'd want back, but the majority of those goals were just a basic result of a team breakdown, or really what it came down to is just Edmonton having their way on offense and setting up great plays. Those they come in and they rim one way and then they immediately rim back the other way. And that's something we used to see in the late 80s, and then again in the late 90s you'd see that play come back where you come in and you rim it, and the tendency is for everybody to go towards the puck then. But if the first guy there, if F1 gets to that puck and rims it right back, now you've got everybody on one side of the rink. And if your team knew that that play was coming, so now you've got your F3 picking the puck up off midboards and walking towards the ice. Now everybody's making an adjustment, and that's exactly what you see happen to Utah 2 times in a row. And it got a little frustrating, but that's the play. That's how they set it up. That's how they designed it, and it's kind of hard not to fall for their plays. So all in all, you win or you learn, right? That's what the coach has been saying. And here's Coach Barrett on what his thoughts of the game were.
Obviously, we played a really good first period. We're really happy about the way we played, the focus we had. We went away from that big time in the second, and we paid for it. There's a good team on the other side, and made a big play with what we open up. It's unfortunate, but we don't want to forget we have 6 points out of 8 on that trip, and we have a good lesson today. So there's a lot of positive, and we didn't go too high when we had success. We won't go too low after a game like that.
What is the takeaway you want your group to come away with after that second period?
Well, I think the second we didn't stay with what we had to do, and we went away a little bit. Our focus was not as good, and we paid for it. So in a certain way, if we use that the right way, that will be positive for us because that will help us to grow. So that's always the objective. You win or you learn. You don't do anything else. So today will be a learning experience.
And in terms of that learning experience with this new look maturity team, the not letting emotions get too high with wins like Winnipeg and not letting emotions get too low like today, what do you take from the way this group has responded?
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to see next game. You know how that game will have affect us, but I'm really confident. I'm extremely confident on our group and the maturity on our group, and good. Like I said, we were not expecting to win the rest of the way. We knew adversity will happen, and it's part of the growth. And I like the fight in our guy.
Positive was that Cooley line, especially in the first period. What were you seeing out of their ability to generate and take opportunities and run with them?
Yeah, they had a few good looks and they capitalized on it. But they're part of our success and they're part of our failure. There's nobody in our team who's not part of it. We're a unit, we're a team, and everybody has to learn from that game, and everybody contribute when we win. And I said it when we were winning. We're 4-line teams in which everybody has an important role, and whatever, if it's energy, whatever it's face-off, shutdown, physicality, whatever it is, or skill and scoring goal and speed and so on and so forth. There's some unsung hero sometimes, but everybody's important. So that is in every situation, not just when you win, when you lose as well. Everybody has to take responsibility, and coach are included. So that's like I said, it's not a drama. It's not a drama. We lose a game. We didn't play the way we wanted in the second and the third, but I'm really proud of the way the guys played during that trip, the way they fought, and the maturity we showed in that trip. There's a lot to be proud of.
All right, like I said, one of my favorite sayings is either you win or you learn, and Coach Bear is the perfect person to have in that position. He does notice where he's a fine details guy, and he's a guy that's going to teach his young guys to be better and where they made mistakes. And yeah, Cooley's line's been hot, but they've also shown at times some defensive liability, and not as much as last year. I'm not saying that at all, but it's awesome to see the growth and to see all the development. And yeah, man, it's going to be impossible to not come in just maybe a little overconfident when you've won 7 straight and you're feeling great and you're top in the NHL. You got scorers that are top in the NHL, and you're really showing up. And if you start drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, then some of those games will get you. Not saying that's what happened here. What I say happened here is we ran into a really good team that's gone through all the stuff we're going through now, that the Utah Mammoth are going through now. They've done it, and now it's Utah's time to do it. And this is a perfect example. So I think it's awesome that they've taken that, and I think the Utah team learns from that loss, and it doesn't get any easier. The NHL doesn't really have any nights off. Even the bad teams are going to be good, so you've got to be ready for it. One cool thing that did happen immediately after the game, they announced that they had extended Logan Cooley. And I know that a lot of people were thinking that was going to be a big deal, and it was a big deal that he'd rejected a contract. But I'm telling you, when I've been talking to Bill Armstrong about these things, and when all that stuff came up about him rejecting a contract, Bill's like, I don't know where that came from. That's not true. You know, we're in good faith negotiations. And today they had their press conference. I'm going to play it for you now. The press conference was good. The problem with the video that they sent out, the audio is a little hot, so it cracks a little bit. So forgive me. This is 13 minutes. You're going to hear from Coach Bill, or from GM Bill Armstrong. You're going to hear from the owner Ryan Smith, and you're going to hear from Logan himself. But the audio is not great, so forgive me. But it's 13 minutes of the press conference, and you'll get an idea. And like I said, Bill kind of comes out and says, we had it done a while ago, and here you go.
All right, good morning, everybody. We're gathered here today. It's great. It's amazing that we were able to keep this a secret as long as we did. This contract's been done for a little bit of time, and you're probably saying, how much time exactly? Well, when Logan was scoring about every 30 seconds, you could see the weight come off his back. This 8-year contract signed today by Logan will help this franchise take a huge step to becoming a championship organization in the future. Logan has made a huge commitment today by signing with the Mammoth to this organization, to his teammates, to the Mammoth fans, and also to the state of Utah. The reason I'm so excited today to sign Logan to an 8-year deal is the same reason on draft day we were so excited about getting this young man. He's an elite centerman with speed, and they're extremely rare and extremely hard to find. What makes him unique is his drive and character, his ability to improve with a huge hunger to win. And he's an impressive young man, and I'd like to give some recognition to his mom, Kathy, and his dad, Eric, who have done an incredible job at raising him. And he's got some great stuff about him where he'll go to skills during the summer. Every day he's relentlessly working on his game, and his grandmother also attends every skill session too. So he's a remarkable young man. These were not easy negotiations. These were extremely, extremely tough negotiations. But I always felt during this deal that there was a deal. There was a great deal for the organization, but there was also a great deal for the player inside the negotiations. And in my heart, I always felt like they would get done. And I just want to recognize a few people. One are Ryan and Ashley Smith, not only for their commitment on a day like this to sign a huge deal, but it's also a commitment to make this an elite organization. I'd also like to thank Logan personally for the way that he conducted himself during these negotiations. It was impressive for being 21 years old. And also his agency, the Bartletts. They're extremely tough negotiators, but fair and honest, and they worked with us the entire way to get this across the finish line. Also the hockey ops, I'd like to thank them for their time and effort. Number one, David Ludwig, Chris Armstrong. It was truly a team effort from ownership to hockey ops to the player and the agency, and I'd like to thank everyone that was a part of it. Best.
Well, just before I get started, I'd like everyone to know how grateful I am to be in this position and this opportunity. I would like to thank Ryan and Ashley Smith for believing in me and giving me this opportunity, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that they made the right decision. And I'd like to thank Bill, Bear, Luds, Chris for everything you guys have done for me, and I love it here. It's the best time I've had playing hockey. The fans, the facilities we have are second to none, and I think just the team we have with Gunther, Keller, Sergey, the core we have here, it's a special group, and I'm excited to add to that. And I think the way we're playing and the team we have, we're going to be a dangerous team to stop.
Yeah, first of all, thanks everyone. This is a great day. I think, this was always our hope, but Logan is 21. This is probably the biggest decision that he's ever made in his life. And this is what leadership looks like. I mean, honestly, committing for a big chunk of his career to be here. I definitely think Dylan Gunther set the tone, and then Logan followed, and that's what I love about these guys is they're all in on each other, they're all in on the state, and they're all in on what we're doing. And us as Utahns, us as fans, we get a benefit from this for a really long time. And I think this is what we're trying to build, and this is exactly what we hoped for when we brought a team here. I think it's a message to his teammates that this is a leadership move. It's also a big message to the NHL that this is a destination, and we're going to be doing this for a while. And we've got what we believe is the best young core in hockey, and there's just a great vibe. And so to Logan, your family, we have this principle here that we're all in at SEG and with our teams. And, this is definitely an all-in move from your part. And we promise that we'll be all in on you and your family. And I know that Utah will be that way as well. So we're just excited. What a wonderful day.
Bill and Ryan, this is the last year that a player can sign for 8 years. It's a huge commitment, like you just touched on, Ryan. So what does that say about this organization, that you have multiple young players in this young core that's part of this plan who are staying for 8 years and want to be here and want to grow hockey and bring Stanley Cup to Utah?
It's a great message. We love the fact that we were able to get an 8-year deal accomplished. We feel there's a championship window in there. We didn't want to go buy it, and it's with Dylan Gunther doing it the year before, and as Ryan said, he kind of set the table, and everybody's all in to follow. And it's been a great thing dealing with all these contracts and young players, because they're also dealing with money and agencies. But the one thing that comes through in the negotiations is that they want to win, and they believe in each other, and that has a good part to do with why they're signing here.
I sat down with Logan last week, that was a lot of the discussion that we were having, is like, what do we see? What does 8 years look like? Why is that important for all of us? And it's pretty cool to have that conversation of like, let's look forward, let's dream out there, let's see what we're going to go build together, and him getting excited. And you saw what he did when he went on that road trip. So I don't want to say that conversation helped when in the first game off, but you could tell there was a little bit of a weight on the shoulder. And I think it's a lesson for everyone that it's like, when your head's right and you're bought in and you're excited about the future, good stuff happens.
Logan, congratulations. And I just want to know first, who was the first person that you called when you signed the extension? And second, do you have any big purchases planned yet?
No big purchases yet, but I think just my family, everything they've done for me, just giving me every opportunity I could to succeed. And it's been, kind of a crazy journey, and doesn't even feel real still sometimes, but just super thankful for them, and it's obviously awesome to share that moment with them.
Let's give them full-size candy bars out for Halloween, I'll tell you that.
Logan, congratulations.
Thank you.
8 years is a long time. What do you want to accomplish over the next almost decade?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it a ton, is winning a Stanley Cup. That's why you play this game, and that's why, it's fun working every day at the rink, trying to get better, trying to work on your game individually as a team. And, I think the best in the league, when it's all said and done, it's, kind of judged by, winning, and that's what we love to do, that's what we want to do, and that's what we're going to accomplish.
Well, you talked about it a little bit, but what can he do for you over the next 8 years?
Well, he's already doing it right now. The way he comes to the rink, how hard he tries every single day to get better. He goes home in the summer, he gets bigger, stronger, and faster. He's a huge example setter inside our organization. But if you watch him, he's always been, pushing the envelope of winning since a kid, from the U.S. program to Minnesota to the World Championships last year, and he's doing it here. And so he's going to continue to push that pace to make Utah a winner and a Stanley Cup. And that's not an easy process to go through, but I love the way that he attacks it every day.
Logan, you mentioned that the guys in the locker room have made this an easy decision for you to be here. Have there been any moments in your first 3 years with this team that stand out about, kind of moments you realized that this was the group of guys that you wanted to be with for a long time?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just how fun we have coming to the rink every day. It's obviously a long year. There's a lot of ups and downs, but I think the group we have, it's just such a joy to compete with, to be around, whether that's dinners, hanging out, and obviously we have a great captain, a great leader, and drives the bus for us. And then you guys got guys like Sergachev who, gets us going, and we just have an unbelievable group, and, I'm excited to be with this group for a while.
Logan, you've also said that this is the most you've ever enjoyed playing hockey. It's the most fun you've ever had playing hockey. What's made it that way?
Yeah, I think it goes back to just the group we have, the fans, the ownership, what they've given us, and we have every resource you need possible. And, that's what you want as a player. It allows you to be the best player you possibly can be, and it's definitely nice to have that, and it's helped my game a lot.
How do you see your individual game growing over these next 8 years? What do you hope to accomplish individually?
Yeah, it's tough to kind of say what you're going to accomplish over 8 years. For me, it's just about taking it day by day and year by year. I'm not a guy that likes to look too ahead. I like to stay in the moment, and for right now, my focus is on this year and getting to the playoffs, and not only getting to the playoffs, but we want to win in the playoffs too.
When you first started with this organization, just the idea that you'd be here in this position to sign 8 years would be to be the leader in 8 years, be in the pipeline of a leadership with this young core. Did leader ever become a word in that conversation about what this future looks like?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a young kid coming to the league, it's maybe not something you think about too much, but as you get a little older and start to be around a little more, you start to understand how important that is and how important leadership is, and how it helps the team too. I think when we go through different tough times and you have guys to lean on like Sergachev and Keller, like younger guys coming up, I kind of want to be that guy for them to help them through any situation they need or little things like that.
Ryan, what's it like for you to have?
I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Just the audio is bad. And for some reason, so normally when you're in those press conferences, they pass around a mic that is keyed in to their video source. So when they send it out, you can hear the questions of the interviewers, and then you can hear the answers. But for some reason, the audio was off. But like I said, their mics kept peaking too hard. And so it was a little hot. But I just wanted you to get the idea. It's exciting that Logan Cooley wanted to stay here. It's exciting to know that he wasn't really saying no to contracts, that, he believes in the team that's here. He believes in the people that are around him. And, it's coming together. It's all coming together for Utah. And we're spoiled because we haven't had to go through everything that the Arizona Coyotes had to go through to get here. Hopefully, if some of the things I picked up in that interview I wanted to bring up today, actually, and I mentioned it to Logan after the interview, I said, hey, Bill mentioned that your grandma's at every, practice that you go to during the summer. And if you don't have a big purchase in mind, wouldn't buying your grandma a new car and maybe a house? Wouldn't that seems like a good reward for your family that's been there for you every day. Hope my kids are listening to that. And I thought that's cool. Utah has a young core, and they're excited to build this together. Ryan Smith always uses the term all in and build together, and he creates this team unity and this ownership unity, and everybody's on the same page. And I believe that the Utah Mammoth have that infection of positivity and the infection of we're going to win. And I think it's cool to see. It's fun to see. I know Utah Jazz fans are just jealous over it, but I think that's the whole thing Ryan Smith brings to the table is he believes in the team. He supports the team. He'll do whatever it takes to make the team win. And, with the Jazz you're seeing sometimes that means you got to lose a little. So luckily us Utah fans don't have to be in on that. And, they're developing that window. Now you've got guys signed that still have 5, 6, 7, and now 8 years left. So there's your playoff window. There's your championship window. And it's just starting to open for the Utah Mammoth. This is year one of real playoff expectation. The expectation is that you get to the playoffs this year and then hopefully, maybe win a round, maybe win a lot, maybe be the Cinderella story. I'm not going to throw that out, but if you get to this, then learn from what you learned in the playoffs. Speaking of playoff windows, Tampa Bay Lightning coming into town. Their window is closing. Their guys are older. They already got rid of, some of their top players, which surprised a lot of people. So they come into town. Just looking at what we've got right now with Nick Schmaltz leading Utah with 17 points. Keller and Gunther and Cooley all have 12. Peterka with 10. So things are looking good. But if we want to look at the upcoming game, Tampa Bay comes in at 4-4-2. Utah will be 8-3-0 coming into this game. Nikita Kucherov, he's just doing it, man. He looks great. He's still one of the most fun players in the NHL to watch. He leads Tampa Bay right now with 7 points. Jake Gunsel's got 3 goals. So they've spread out their goals. For your leading scorer to only have 3 and you still won 4 games. Tampa Bay's power play is at 14%. Utah's is at 21%. Tampa Bay's penalty kill is one of the top in the league. 7th in the league at 88%. Unbelievable. Utah's still 23rd in the league at 73.5%. And looking at goaltenders, Andrei Vasilevsky, one of the best goalies in the last 5 years in the NHL. He's won a couple cups, being such a solid goaltender. If that's who Utah matches up against, I imagine Veggie's going to go again. Vasilevsky is 2-3-2, 2.86 goals against, and an 89% save average. And Veggie right now is 6-2 with a 2.75 goals against, also with an 89% save average. Yes, Vanacek's a little bit better. Statistic-wise, 2 wins, 1 loss, 2 goals against per game so far, and a 91.3% save average. So that's what we have to look forward to. I'm excited to see Tampa Bay come in. It's always fun to see. I just get a kick out of watching Vasilevsky. You want to see a fast, technically sound goaltender. Vasilevsky's it. He's super fast. He's super great on his edges. His save selection is always phenomenal. He is also super athletic. So even when he's not in the right position, he has a way to create himself to being in that position. I think you've all seen the behind the back glove save. That's unheard of. I don't even know how that comes to your mind. It's just that they'll do anything to stop the puck mentality. I thought I had it till I saw guys like this play, and then I realized, once I'm beat. But these guys don't give up. So a lot of good things happening for the Utah Mammoth, and a lot of good things coming our way as fans. So stay tuned, and like I said, post stuff. Let me know you're listening. Let me know what else I can do for you. I know sometimes the audio that I play from the Mammoth, I'm getting your feedback that you don't love some of the audio because it's sometimes bad. I'm working on that on my end, and I've asked them to work on their end. And we're just going to be good. We're going to be going. Next week you can catch me on the radio. I'll be on the Sports Zone 97.5 talking hockey with a couple of those different teams there. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm just excited. And that is today's Captain's Log.